I removed the previous feature from the part, and what I noticed is that when I drag in this corner feature, is that the box, and I think these used to show up more in the orange, or the edges that it wanted you to pick are kind of this dashed line. So you can zoom in and out, and we can pick on that edge, and then the upper edge, and the lower edge, and lastly the face. And I saw those when I was doing the previous example, but it didn't really register what it was asking for. So there's going to be times where you have to diagnose and try a couple times through. So if I edit this, then we're back to putting in the center lines, and we'll set that to midpoint and horizontal, and go ahead and mirror. Oh, that was on the sketch entities, sketch tools. I guess I'm going to have to add that. I've looked for it twice now. So we're going to need to customize the S key and make sure that the mirror entities is easy to get to. So from right to left, Control select the center line. Now I've gotten into such a habit of using the S key that it's my go-to. All right, so this puts the corner reliefs. And again, just a little bit of a transition. And the other thing this is going to do, so I think I did the 30 before. Oh yeah, we need to add to the mix, and then wait for that little pop-up. Just give it a little bit of a pause and watch for it to jump into the mix, and that will get all of our internal. So what this is going to do on the cam side is that I will be able to pick one of these edges, and it will look at all of this as a tangency and as a pocket find its way all the way around to apply a tool path. All right, so the other thing of note here is going to be, if we go back in, and I'm just going to check this real quick, because of the associativity, open up that corner feature, and if I change it from 130 to say 190 to a 3/8 tool, and rebuild it, and save it, and then go back to my part. Alright, so the associativity, we have the ability to dissolve, and I thought it would push it back over, but the next time I drag it in, then it would be at the 190. So you just need to be aware of which way these are going, and I can always remove that that link to that feature. All right, so if anything changes, that would be a good place to look. So really, we're just starting off with those basics. Going to be able to modify it as needed for the part that we're applying it to. And another quick advantage of using this kind of corner treatment is to, if I was really close to the edge, maybe this geometry, I don't have a lot of room, I can play with this angle, and maybe we go to 270 is going to make it vertical, so not quite that much. 250, I can shift that over, and I can reduce that, and I will still have the same kind of relief at the corner, even though it overruns a little deeper. And then at some point, if we did actually go to 270, I'm not sure if it's going to generate an error because of that point, but Let's see what we get. And at some point it just becomes vertical and the overrun goes completely into the part. So a little more efficient than just doing a circle. And if we brought this dimension in this way, we would be seeing the 45. So it just happens to be the way that I applied it. So we'll make sure to save that. One more feature, and then we'll jump into doing some of the cam. All right, so with a feature part, then pretty much want all of my geometry. So we're going to do kind of the same thing as the sketch. Open on the front plane, and then the S key will give me the rectangle. And I still want the center line. And rather than break the relations of a center rectangle, we'll just kind of rough sketch that in. Select the midpoint, control select the line, force it to a midpoint relation, apply a couple of dimensions. And it doesn't really matter, I'm kind of stuck on 4x2. And for an assembly, I would want this to be an actual part that I could insert and have it represent the stock. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude this out, have it go the direction that I think I want anyway. Usually I'm going to place this on the top of the part and have the geometry go in and cover up the part to represent the material that I picked to start with. So I'm going to make sure that in this case that the boss extrude feature is selected. And when we do the file save as, then I'm going to be able to navigate to my system, my design library parts, and then this will be a stock, maybe I'll just call it a stock body or something, again, that will make sense when it's when I'm viewing it in the CAM program. So the way this is going to work, and let's see, I think I left that as a part file, so yep, don't know that that's going to do exactly the same thing. So file, save as, and if we need it, I might be able to use the use it as a body in the parts as well. But for an assembly, I think it does need to be in a part. So we'll check it out here pretty quick. In the design library, and so we'll have a stock body feature and a stock body part. So if I go back to my part, well, let's use part 6 here, and I am in the part. So if I hover for just a second, I'll see that that's a library feature. It places it. So there was the link. So if I wanted to be able to change the sizes, then I would check that, and when I changed that 130 to 190 on the corner relief, that would have allowed it to update from the library feature to the current part. So if we override the dimensions on this piece, since I'm bringing in a body to oversize for the stock, and I don't remember what this was, so maybe we'll go 4. Okay, so that's going that way, and this would be a good place to change those names to possibly height, width, and depth, because whatever face you bring it in on, it's going to represent the those planes. So maybe go to 3 by 6 by 4. And then when I edit the sketch, I'm still going to be able to utilize, and I did not put my center point there, so maybe I go back and edit that for future uses. And that did not pick up something there. There it goes. All right, so I got 2 coincidences instead of. All right, so when I accept this, then that gives me the stock. Now I still only have one solid body, so in this feature, the merge result is still on. So if I wanted to see that as the transparency of how much overage my stock has on the material, that would give me a good representation. So let's make those corrections. And this is another one of my iterative processes that I'm just going to go through and try and make sure to check these out as I use them and get it working the way that I want. Alright, so we got the sketch. Going to place a point at the intersection, midpoint, and save that one. And I mentioned the naming, so let's go to width. And these are kind of arbitrary, but it'll help you keep track of the numbers. And maybe height. And then the last one would be to pick up the boss extrude and make it the depth. Okay, we save that. And then next time I drag it in, I should see those, the values, and since I didn't link it, I'm not expecting to see it now. But if we click on those, it's still going to be the 2. If I had linked to the original file, then I should have seen those update. All right, one last example is to bring this into an assembly. There are times where an assembly is going to be quite a bit more functional in that we can bring in vices, we can bring in fixtures, we can do all those types of geometries. And just drop that anywhere. So, oh, and it brought in my my solid body. So let's go ahead and we will hide that because the part should take its place. All right, so it's kind of a choose. Also, if we were doing multiples and I wanted to, depends on the program on how it manages the work coordinates. But if I wanted to manage several vices, several parts, then this would be a good way to go about it. So drop the insert component. So that brought in the full body. So basically, rebuild and save. So basically, it'd be like we're just saving it in a convenient location to be able to access. I place that one. Go ahead and see if I can grab it. There we go. Place that one. 6 was a little bit close, but that's okay. So 3 didn't quite make it. Okay, and because where I dropped the sketch, we would go in and edit the sketch plane, and that would apply the sketch, and then the boss extrude becomes the depth. Make sure to get that, and if we accept that and rebuild. All right, so maybe it should have been a little bit more than that. And let's see my number, there we go. So maybe we'll just go to 2.5 there. All right, the main thing is that I'm getting this, this set up. And again, we can go to the transparency. And it's saying that it's related, but it's still capable of moving. So if I rebuild that, the relation should bring it back. It's always kind of interesting. Maybe we go ahead and just fix that one. It's always interesting if you try to remove the fix on an associated part, but it has relations, and you think you move it, it moves back. You think it moved it, moves back, and it comes down to it has to retain its position. All right, so that gives you some background into the library features and where I'm generating some of these stock bodies and a quick way of adding them to my CAM program.